Recently there have been a lot of discussions about people being in high profile relationships and actually being abused. Your only goal is to fulfill a dream. Maybe that dream is to go out and to sing. And so you meet a music executive and you think, oh my gosh, it's a Cinderella story. I'm going to go there. I'm going to live in this beautiful house and I'm going to have a great life. But in reality, we've been seeing stories about high-profile people, P. Diddy, R. Kelly, who are actually abusing, beating, punching, and hurting women who are trusting them. How much is true? Well, don't tell me 10 people are all lying, okay? I don't even understand why they're hurting these beautiful women. But nevertheless, you've got to really think critically before you get into a relationship with somebody where there's imbalance of power. And for all the victims out there who literally just had a dream, you are not to blame for the cruelty of these men. But you do want to think first before you date someone. And if you're a male and you're getting involved with a high profile woman, you need to ask yourself some questions. So I've compiled a list for you all, some things to think about, some ideas to kind of get in your mind beforehand, and recognize the Cinderella story really does not exist, unfortunately. And you're going to be getting involved with a human being. And many times they don't feel that you deserve what they have. If they had to work for it and suffer through it, then you get to suffer as well. And it's cruel and it's unfair. So some things to think about when you're dating or considering marrying a high profile person. One, please, 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 I beg you, do not meet with them in their home initially, because that can just upset the whole game. First of all, you're in their territory and it's not going to work out well. But meet in a public place. Ask them some questions. Get to know them before you decide to have a relationship. Don't put yourself in a situation where you can be harmed. And I would strongly recommend you learn some martial arts and self-defense. Okay? Obviously, it's going to be tough if you've got multiple people, coming after you. They've got their lynchmen, essentially, that can hold you down, things like that. But if you have some level of martial arts and some training, this could help you at least to try to escape or get away. I'm so thankful for the people who are bringing this to our attention, like Cassie. I'm so sorry for the things they've had to endure. There's even stories of Mary J. Blige being beaten up and so forth, and it's just horrific to hear all these different situations. And the reality is, would a lot of people have sympathy for them in the first place? You might think, oh, well, they're a star. They have lots of money. Why should we care? They could get out of the situation if they wanted to. Can they? Some people have tried to leave, and some people have actually spoken against these executives, these music executives, and they've had their careers destroyed. Okay? And it's not just women who are getting abused. There are young boys who are also alleged to have been abused, and abused by women, high-profile women in the industry as well. So there's some things you really got to ask yourself, and don't think that because you get into this relationship that somehow magically your life is going to change. It doesn't sound like it's very magical. In fact, if I were you, I would just stay away from it altogether and create your own money. I try to teach single parents in particular how to generate money on your own so that you don't put yourself in these situations and you're looking for a savior. Aaron Brockovich wrote a book years ago called Superman is Not Coming. And let me tell you, he really is not coming. There's nobody coming to save you. And most of the time, you would be so ashamed by the situations you're enduring, you wouldn't even tell people. So the best thing you can do is avoid it like the plague. Meet somebody that is already in the same circle, okay? Because if somebody who's extremely high profile and very wealthy suddenly wants to be involved with somebody who can offer them nothing, you need to ask yourself, why do they want to be involved with you? Because typically the wealthy stay with other wealthy people in order to continue the wealth within the family in generation after generation. So if you got somebody wealthy suddenly dating somebody way below their means, you got to ask yourself a few questions. The first question is, like I just said, why does this person want to be with me? I mean, right now we're seeing Nick Cannon. He's out there. He's got like 12 children, different baby mamas. Why does this person want to have a child with me in the first place? They already have 2 children. Are they even caring for the 2 children that they already have? So there's a reason why somebody high profile gets involved with somebody who really can't offer them anything. And typically it's going to be abuse. It's not something positive. It's not something, like I said, the Cinderella story. It does not exist. It's very rare. And most of the time, you're going to regret the situation you got into. So why does this person, high profile, very wealthy, want to be involved with somebody maybe who's a little bit more poor? And don't tell me it's a Cinderella story. It doesn't exist. So you need to ask yourself that question first of all, okay? They have an agenda, and the agenda is probably not going to be in your favor. It is probably going to be to hurt you and harm you in some way. And you need to come with that mindset. Are there good people out there? Yes. But do the wealthy typically get involved with people who can't offer them anything? No, they do not. And if they do, they are probably highly dysfunctional. So keep that in mind. Second question. Why does this person want to date me? Are they not able to get a date from anybody in their social class? Why would they need to date me? And I know you think, oh, because I'm such a wonderful person. Of course they want to date me. Maybe. But you being wonderful is typically not how the wealthy make their decisions. It's usually critical thinking. They're usually thinking strategic relationships. For instance, we see Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. Maybe she's not at the same level, but she is wealthy. She is a millionaire also. He is a billionaire, but she's a millionaire. She also has stuff going for her. She's got a pilot's license, a lot of things. So she can kind of help him out in some ways, transport him to places that he wants to get to quickly. So there are reasons why the wealthy date people who are below their economic level. And it's typically because they're bringing something to the table. But if this person is not bringing anything to the table, trust me, they're not getting involved with you for a good reason, okay? And you have to know that and not think that you are suddenly this golden person and, you're gonna change them. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna be the one who's gonna change, and it's not gonna be for the better. It's gonna be a lot of trauma and a lot of abuse. Question number 3. What is the reputation of this person? Everyone has a reputation, okay? You need to do your research before you get involved with anybody. We see a situation right now. Jeezy and Jeannie Ma. He had a reputation before she got involved with him. Why would she get involved with him and have a child? I have no idea. He was very good at convincing her, seduced her, I'm not sure. But everyone has a reputation, and you need to believe what people are telling you about the person. And you need to open yourself up to an understanding and recognize you aren't some sudden golden key different from everybody else and they're suddenly going to be amazing towards you. If they weren't amazing to their previous relationship and they mistreated their children, they're going to do the same thing with you. Okay? Unless they've owned it. Some people do change. Absolutely, they change. But it takes a lot of work to change. It takes years. So don't assume that suddenly you are just this amazing person and they're suddenly going to change for you, because it does not happen. Question number 4. What benefit do they get from being with you? As I mentioned earlier, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. There is a benefit there for both people. I mean, obviously she benefits from his influence, his status and stuff, but he's benefiting from her as well. They're bringing something to the table. You see Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. They're not getting involved with people who can't offer them anything. If you're completely broke, there's really nothing you can offer, even your musical talent. They don't need to be in a relationship with you for you to have musical talent or for your career to flourish, So them getting in a relationship with you is not for a good reason. So you've got to keep that stuff in mind. It's not for your benefit. It's not helping you. It is probably going to hurt you. They can help your career without sleeping with you and abusing you. Question number 5. What can I offer this person? If you get involved with a high profile person and you have nothing to offer them, I mean, you could say friendship, perhaps, maybe that would work, but not necessarily. Friendship alone is not going to sustain this situation. Also, if the only thing is friendship, then they can do that without sleeping with you, okay? So you've got to think really critically when you're getting involved with people. Critically. Why does this person want to be involved with me? What can I offer them? Why are they suddenly choosing me over people already in their circle? What is it about that person that they don't want to be with people within their circle? Question number 6, what lifestyle is this person accustomed to? Are they used to going to bed at 10 and getting up at 7, and now they expect you to do the same thing, and yet you're used to going to bed at midnight and getting up at 9 or 10. Do you suddenly have to adapt to their ways, or is there some room for compromise? Does everything have to be on their terms? I know when Elon Musk says, from what I've read, when he dates, he says, you need to adapt to my schedule. Is that the expectation of dealing with this high-profile person? Do you need to adapt to them, but they're not willing to adapt to you? If that is the case, why would you put yourself in that situation? Is it worth it? Is it worth the compromise? Obviously, if you're being assaulted, abused, mistreated, can't see your family, you have no freedom, none of that's worth it. It's not worth it. You got to treat yourself better. You got to be good to you. Question number 7. Is this person generous? When you go out to the restaurants, do you see this person being generous? And is their generosity legitimate? Because I've read that there are some of these high-profile people that how they lead you in, they kind of trick you by saying, hey, you want to go shopping? And they take you out and they take you shopping. And now you're kind of hooked because you feel obligated to that person because you allowed them to manipulate you and trick you. So you don't need to get involved with somebody who's going to take you shopping right away. In fact, you want to be able to shop for each other. You want it to be an equal relationship, equal partnership. You want it to matter. You want to care about each other. Give yourself that opportunity. Give yourself that love, that kindness, so that you're not depending on somebody else. Buy your own clothes. Don't allow somebody else to groom you into their lifestyle by manipulating you, by buying you things. Recognize you're valuable and that your value is not based on the things you have in your possession, because then you're allowing yourself to be manipulated by people who can manipulate you and mistreat you. Excuse me. Question number 8. Does this person want their way? Are they used to getting yeses all the time and getting their way? That can be very challenging. I mean, it's great if you can stand up for yourself and say no, tell them occasionally no. But if you saying no is going to cause you to be assaulted, then you got to rethink this. I mean, you need to do a lot of this stuff not on their territory, perhaps on your territory or in a public place around people who love you, know you, and care about you. Because you have to be safe. If you can't feel safe with this person, you should not be in a relationship with them. And the only way you're going to know if you're truly safe is if you spend enough time with them. And so you need to spend enough time with them in various situations, at the restaurants, with your family, with their friends. You need to see how they're treating people. How are they treating their staff? How are they treating their bodyguards or whatever? How are they treating the people around them? If someone says no to them, do they suddenly get a side eye, or you're like, it's a watch out situation? Well, that's how they're going to treat you too. It's nothing wrong with getting your way all the time when you're used to calling the shots, as long as you are not forcing other people to do things against their will. You get accustomed to a certain lifestyle, and that can be okay. But when they are forcing you to live a certain way, then you need to be concerned. Question number 9. What happens if you say no? So they're accustomed to getting getting yeses, getting their way. But what happens if you say no? What's going to happen to you at that point? You need to be able to see this, which means you need to refrain from sexual relations, from intercourse, to be able to see these things objectively, how they're treating people. Because once you get intimate, you're losing all sort of reason and wisdom. So you need to think critically. So spend enough time around them. Watch how they treat other people who say no, whether it's they have children or they have bodyguards or people who work for them. How do they respond to these people that say no to them? Are these people getting a beating? Are they getting fired? Are they getting discredited? Because that's how they're going to treat you. You have to be able to see them in all different situations and see their behaviors and recognize them. Are they offended by the slightest thing you say? Can they not accept any criticism? If you say something other than what they want to hear, are they suddenly, not speaking to you, gaslighting you? Those are important things. And you will know these things within a few months. So try to hold off. Don't sleep with anybody until you really get to know them. You can wait a year or wait till you get married. That's even better. Question number 10, and our final question when dating high-profile people, things you need to know. Will you give up some freedom to be in a relationship with this person? Can you no longer post on your social media? Are you not allowed to visit your family? Can you go out with your friends when you want to? What are the rules of this new game? Is the only benefit of being in a relationship with this person access to resources? A beautiful home, which you're kind of a prisoner in? Is that a good thing? You got to ask yourself some critical questions when you're dealing with high profile people. And you got to know what you're doing. And these same questions you can ask them when you're looking at working for an employer who's way beyond your level. And recognizing some of the things you might have to sacrifice or compromise in order to be in a relationship or to work with that person. But definitely when we're dealing with intimate relationships where you're living in the same home, you need to be super, super critical and really analyze what you're getting yourself into. And if you're a single parent and you're putting your children into this at risk for the same thing, that's horrible. Do your best. Think critically. Remember the 10 questions. Replay the video 20 times if you have to. Sonia Gallion-Comunica, SoniaGallion-Comunica.com, and the author of 10 Things I Wish I Knew as a Single Parent, where we talk about all things single parents. And you have an amazing day.